In this clip, I will be painting Scarlett Johansson in her role as the Black Widow. I will show you the process step by step by using time-lapse clips, and will share with you the resources and techniques I used to create this painting of this iconic Avengers character. So I'm going to start by going over the pencil lines with a kneadable eraser to take off the dark edge. If you'd like to see this in real time, then make sure you check out my Patreon, where you will see the full footage of this video. So to create this marbling effect behind Scarlett Johansson, what I did was I created a wet on wet technique by first applying water and then adding a watered down area of Payne's Grey. I used a splash effect and then applied more water afterwards with a water pipette, and also by using a water spray. In order for an image to look 3D, you need to add a wide variety of tones and highlights so that you can create a 3D image. I'm going to start by adding masking fluid to ensure that these highlights are added, and I'm going to start by adding highlights to the hair and then around the cheekbone area so that these highlights stand out, because as you can see from the photograph, the highlights on the cheekbones are really pronounced, and I'm also going to add some to the nose area. I'm then going to start by adding 3 layers of cadmium red hue. The reason for this is because I want to get a really bright bold red, and I will leave the paint to dry in between each layer. So I'm now going to move on to the portrait section of the painting. I'm going to start by painting the neck because that falls behind the face, and I'm going to start by painting the main skin tone, which is a mixture of burnt sienna and cadmium red hue. This is really watered down to make a light skin tone, and I'm then going to paint in the darker areas with Van Dyke brown. I'm now going to add the light mix of burnt sienna and cadmium red hue to the facial features, working in the direction of the facial features, and I will also leave area for highlights. I will also be adding some Van Dyke brown to the dark areas, however it will not be as dark as the area underneath the chin. Tones around the eyes and the forehead, I'm adding a really watered down mix of Van Dyke brown. I'm now going to build up some darker tones around the base of the nose and around the eyes with a mixture of watered down Payne's Grey. Because some of the areas when I applied the paint were a little on the dark side, even though the paint will dry lighter, I decided to go in with a cotton bud just to lift some of the paint off. For the eyes, I added a mixture of Hooker's Green Dark and Payne's Grey. For the eyebrows, I've used Van Dyke brown, and for the lips I've used a mixture of alizarin crimson with a tiny bit of Van Dyke brown, and then I'm going around the edge with Van Dyke brown just to add some darker tones. So now I'm adding the detailing on the outfit with Payne's Grey in a variety of shades. So now I'm going to start painting the hair, and I'm going to start with a watered down mixture of burnt sienna. I'm now going to paint the strap with ivory black to make it stand out. I'm now going to pick out the mid-tones of the hair with Indian red. This is quite an opaque brown, so it will stand out with all of the other hair tones. So now I'm going to start adding Van Dyke brown for the darker tones to give the hair some depth. So now I'm going to remove the masking fluid. I'm going to do this by rubbing it gently with a kitchen towel, and it will come away really easily. So I'm now going to start adding coloured pencil to the watercolour layer. The reason I'm adding colour pencil is because it's perfect for adding details and adding the darker tones. I will be using a mixture of Caran d'Ache Luminance, Faber-Castell Polychromos and Prismacolor. If you would like to see a comprehensive list of all the pencils that I have used in today's tutorial, then please look in the description below. At this stage I've started to use the Derwent pencil blender just to blend out some of the tones. Because I'm using pencil on top of watercolour paper, the solvent blender doesn't work that well, so this is why I'm using pencil blender for today's portrait. To add the fine details of the highlights on the eyes, it's a really good idea to use a gel pen because you can get the precise highlights. It's really important when drawing the facial features, especially the nose, to look to your reference image to get all of the tones and the small areas around the base of the nose in exactly the right place so that you can get a true likeness. Final finishing touch is to add areas of tone to the hair. I hope you enjoyed today's clip, and if you'd like to draw with me in real time, make sure you check out this clip in real time on Patreon. Also, you may find the top clip useful, and be sure to check out the portraits playlist where you will find more portraits, tips and advice.